Hey there! Welcome to our show today. My name is Nicola and this is Who We Are. This is a show that features open and honest discussions about the things that make us who we are. Our faith, our families, our struggles, our successes, and the reason why God placed us here on this earth, our purpose. Today I have an exciting guest for you. She's a good friend of mine. Her name is Dr. Christen Goolsby. She is a family nurse practitioner, and she and her husband are the creators of Darstens Marital Events. Kristen, welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
I am
so excited to be here. As she stated, we are longtime friends.
We are.
And I am so happy to be here with you guys today.
Thank you, Kristen, for being here. Kristen and I actually went to nursing school together.
Yes, we did.
So we go way back, and
Yes.
she's an awesome lady. And today we're going to talk all things marriage, because Kristen, as I mentioned, and her husband have Darstens Marital Events, where they have figured out this way to get married couples excited about being married, right?
Yes, that is a good start. Definitely, you are correct.
So Kristen, what I like to do with my guests is I like you, in your own words, to let us know who you are. So why don't you talk to us and let us know, who is Kristen Goolsby?
Well, first and foremost, I am a God-fearing mother and wife. I have two beautiful children, Alana and Darren. I am a professional. I am definitely a very passionate person, self-determined. I am becoming, slowly but surely, the highest version of myself. I am attempting to do that fearlessly and in just really enjoying who I am and who I'm becoming.
Yes, and you are on your way to being, you're already pretty much there, girl. You got it going on, Kristen.
So you say.
You do.
I am proud of what I've accomplished thus far, but as you know, there are a lot of things, purpose and your drive in the life that you live daily. And so I am optimizing, or at least trying to optimize that time and just be myself and enjoy this life that God has given us.
Yeah. And that's what it's all about, and I'm glad that you mentioned it. And I want to talk a little bit about your family. You mentioned you're a wife, you are a mother. Tell us a little bit about how you met your husband. Tell us about him. Let's get the little backstory.
I don't know if you want to hear how I met my husband. No, so seriously, we met at Boudreaux's Cajun Kitchen. I was still a college student, and he came into the restaurant, and we were there for a girlfriend's birthday party. It was about 12 ladies at the table, and my girlfriend was like, he walked over to the table and she said, why don't you have a seat? He was just passing by. She's very outgoing, very outspoken, so that was not uncommon for her. And she was like, hey, why don't you have a seat? He was like, sure. I mean, but what guy wouldn't sit at a table full of beautiful women, right?
Of course not.
And so he's very charming and kind and had a lot of jokes. So he sat down. He didn't sit next to me. It was like a random thing. And so I really was not drawn to him initially, if I'm being very honest. And so the night kind of went on, and I don't think we even spoke maybe 2 words to each other. It was very, just laughing, joking kind of thing. So afterwards, we went to our second location, which was Max's, and that is a nightclub. Most people in Houston remember that. That's way back in the day. Yes, that's telling our age, girl. But so we got there, and lo and behold, the first person I see when I walk in the door is him.
And I
said, what's going on? That is so funny you said that, because that is exactly what I said, Nicola. No joke. I said, are you following me? He was like, no, are you following me? And so we kind of had that little interaction, but the night went on, and then by the end of the night, he walked over and he said, hey, you want to come to the bar and have a drink with me? So I said, sure. So I walked over and we kind of talked, but I don't know, I wasn't there. And so he asked for my number. Now, listen, this is embarrassing, but I gave him the wrong number. Oh my God, who does that? But in 2004, women did that, maybe, or maybe it was just me.
No, you might feel
So I didn't expect to see him again. I just thought, okay, he was a cool guy. I met him, so be it. Not even 3 months later, I was back at Boudreaux's. And guess who I see?
That's his spot, I guess. I don't know.
My husband, Daryl, he's standing there, but this time I actually looked at him. You know what I mean? And I saw him. He was immediately leaving work, so he had on his suit, and he was smiling as I approached him. So things were changing when you actually take the time, and I think in the setting and just where you are in life too. Even though it was 3 months later, it just was it was our moment. That's how I'll describe it. So we sat down and we talked. And literally, the rest is history. We were inseparable, and things happened like that.
Yeah, like that. So, well, when it's meant to be, that's how it happens. It
I
wasn't
agree.
meant 3 months prior.
That's right.
But God had ordained that second meeting, because who would figure,
right?
You know,
randomly that you're going to go back
in the same place. Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's how you know it's God ordained. That's a beautiful story. So, how long have you all been married?
It will be 12 years on June 23rd, which we're just like, wow, God is good.
God is good.
We are ecstatic to still be happily married, and doing great things in the name of marriage. So 12 years, it's very, it's just a great feeling to be there and to be in that moment.
It is. So now, we're going to get a little real here, right? Because you've got this beautiful smile on your face, and you guys are so in love, and you definitely are. But let's talk about the fact that sometimes at the beginning, that initial, when we get over that honeymoon phase, right? And we get into the real day-to-day grind. You know, I'm going to work, we're going to work every day, and maybe we're here in the house, and then kids come into the picture, and it gets real, right?
Yes.
So speak to us a little bit about that. How did you all overcome that? And then let's start to talk about how Darstens Marital Events came about.
So I'll start with the first thing. For us, initially, that first year, we had heard such trauma stories about your first year of marriage is so bad, there's, I think, a lot of negative connotation attached to marriage in general. But those first couple of years, we weren't hearing the positive statements. So even though some people say the honeymoon stage, some people are stating that it's harder. And I understand that, because you're combining your finances. You're combining two individuals who are whole people separately. And people miss that in marriage, I think. Not realizing that you're coming in as a whole person. This is a whole person with their own ideals in mind. And you have to combine and merge. So for us, we communicate well. That is our strength. And it's not something that everybody has. I don't know that. I think that it can be taught with patience, but for us, we're friends first.
Okay.
And let me start there.
And that's a big one.
That's the biggest thing. That is what keeps us going, because even if we weren't together, we would still be friends. I think you have to put that into perspective. Liking and respecting someone outside of them being your spouse is very important. And so that plays a very big factor in how our marriage works. So when it gets real, the kids are a day-to-day, the responsibilities, the modern day woman and the time that we have and don't have. It's a very real thing. And so for us, we just make sure to focus on making our marriage a priority. I say no to things. It didn't happen overnight, but I'm learning to say no to things more. We do more things together. Now, do I still go out with my girls? Yes.
You have to have that
time. And we find a sitter when we need our time. We do day dates.
Day dates, I like that one.
Lunch break, we work close. I know that's not everybody's, that's not something that everybody has, but for us, if we can, we're close enough to work to meet in the middle. You have to find the time, you have to do the work. Another big thing we do is at night, this whole social media thing. You gotta unplug. You have to. So for us, we tuck the kids in at 8:30. By 10:30 in the evening, we are phones in a basket next to the bed.
In a basket? Okay,
you have to. And everybody's like, oh, my phone's not charging. Put the chargers next to the basket.
There you go.
And so it's there so that you're having that time. Now, we do give, like I said, 10:30. I would say probably about 9:30 we put it in the basket. We give ourselves 8:30 to 9:30 to play on the phone, to talk, to play games, whatever we're going to do. But then there has to be a time where you have that reconnection. So that's my other piece of advice. You have to find some time to reconnect, decompress from the social media, and just really talk to each other and have the conversations about are you happy? You'd be surprised how many people ask their spouse if they're happy. If you feel like there's kind of been some tension, find out. Ask. Don't be afraid. He's your spouse. She's your spouse. You have to talk.
And you have to put that, and you have to make that a priority. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick little break. So we're going to come back and we're going to get into a little bit more of this. We're going to talk about how Darstens Marital Events got created, and we're going to keep talking.
All right.
All right, so you stay tuned and we will be right back. Hey there, everyone. We are back. I am Nicola, and this is Who We Are. And I've been talking to Dr. Christen Goolsby. She and her husband are the creators of Darstens Marital Events. And we were just getting into it a little bit about marriage. She talked about how she met her husband and a little bit about those first few years of marriage, which we both can agree can be a little challenging if you let those challenges overwhelm you, right?
Correct.
That's right. So let's talk about what inspired you and Daryl to create Darstens Marital Events.
So Darstens Marital Events really came about from pillow talk. Just laying in the bed at night, you know how we do as married couples. And we were, I think we had been married maybe 3 or 4 years. And we just kept saying, you know, there's nothing to do for married couples. When you get tired of being in the club or, you know, different little events for singles, you really want to be in an environment with other couples. Couples who get it, couples who are experiencing what you're experiencing, and just kind of on your wavelength.
Like-minded people.
Like-minded individuals, perfect. And so for us, it was like, well, what can we do? Now, both of us love to host. My husband loves to cook. I love themed events. So we thought, hey, we got this in the bag. So let's just have some couples, some of the couples that we know, come to the house and we'll have a game night. It was really just that simple. So we invited 10 couples. They came over. We had a ball. It was so much fun. Essentially, we had food, drinks. We played a few games. The newlywed game is always a signature for us.
That's a hit.
And then we ended with like a crazy game of taboo. But after we ended, everybody was just like, this is awesome. We got to keep doing this. And we honestly were just like, this is just something we're going to try out. We said, okay, maybe we should. So that's really how it started. And it became an annual event. And so, you know, to keep that growth happening, and then by year 5, we had a celebratory event at the Palladium, and it was a big event. We did bowling. They actually let us do a scavenger hunt within the facility, and so that was the year we said, this is really something. People who attended that were like, this was awesome. We had so much fun. You know, people were on Facebook, you know, posting the pictures. People were inboxing me like, can I come next year? And I was like, okay, sure.
So is this something that you all are charging people to do, or is it just a bunch of friends together?
Initially, we were fully funding everything out of our home ourselves. We would tell people to bring maybe their favorite beverage, but by year 5, we did charge for that event. Obviously, to put something on of that magnitude, yes.
You have to.
But we were probably charging less than what we should have. But it's not about that for us. It's about passion, and it's about purpose. I would do it for free, and I know my husband would agree. We still are not making a profit for it if I'm being transparent. We just love that we do it. We love what we do. We love influencing and helping and being around other married couples. But by year 5, we said, this may really be something. This is bigger than us. This is bigger than what we thought. And so we said, well, maybe we should open it to other people. But then that fear kicked in, like, well, it's not broke. Why are we trying to fix it? We're going along good. We love the couples. We know everyone. Let's just keep going. And so that's what we did. We kept going. We did 2 more years. And then year 7, we had to cancel the event. Low numbers. And oh my gosh, I was heartbroken. My husband was like, babe, it's okay. Now, mind you, I'd prayed about it year 5. And, you know, I felt like God had maybe whispered something to me like, Chris, you hear it, you feel it, that discernment is there, but I was just too fearful.
And I think that's how the devil works, though.
Yeah.
When he sees that something big is on the horizon,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have all this fear that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's because he doesn't want that. He doesn't want it to be a blessing for people.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so when the event had to be canceled, we really sat down and said, hey, what do we want to do?
Yeah.
What is it that God intended for this to be for us? And so we said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's open it to the public. There is no reason why. The limited number of people that attended, we don't know what that reason was, but I feel like it was just God saying, hey, be obedient.
Right?
This is something that you need to do. And as people say, God will take you all the way down to build you all the way back up.
Right.
So we just decided to take that full year and really focus on what DME would be. Darstens is actually the combination of both of our names.
That's right.
And obviously they're marital events, so that's where the name came from.
Yes.
And so we did have the last event before we became public, we hosted just our friends. And we had a videographer come in and they did a slideshow. It was just a beautiful event. Nice. And so everybody got to see all of the branding, we just made our announcement. Yeah. And so everybody was like, what? This is so exciting. And for us, it was just seeing something that you worked so hard for and being obedient and seeing that, wow, this is really happening. Yeah. And so we hosted that one, and this year is actually the first official Love and War that was open to the public, and it went beautifully.
Oh, I saw the picture.
Oh,
I hated that I couldn't come.
I know one year you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it.
I am going to be there.
That's okay. We'll
God
look
willing.
For you. Yes, we will look for you.
I will.
The events are fun, but we also try to hit on issues that are covered in your marriage. Yeah. So Love and War obviously represents love, but as you know, in marriage, you're going to have some war sometime. So there's a combination of both, but you just have to find your way back to love. There will be some war, but love always wins, and that's how we feel about it. So there's an obstacle course, which we see it in a very literal way. You have obstacles in your marriage. Yeah. So you have to work through that obstacle course together. So there's always competition, but that is the purpose of the obstacle course, and it's a great time. We do the newlywed game. The newlywed game we do is probably the most popular game because a lot of people think they know their spouse. And they might not. But it allows for you to see some real things and to learn some new things from your spouse and say, oh, I didn't know that. And it creates an opportunity for conversation. Yeah, which a lot of people don't get a chance to do. Sometimes when you answer those real questions, instead of those day-to-day conversations that we have, oh, babe, what you want to eat? Okay, well, are you taking the kids? Are you picking up the kids today? Or me? Those the things. Monotony of the things that we do every day. So just to bring up things like, what was she wearing when you guys first met? Oh man, the guys are like, are you serious? I don't know. Like the faces, it's hilarious.
I'm sure it's hilarious.
Just to be in the space with other couples who are experiencing what you're experiencing, meeting new couples, and just understanding that what you may be experiencing, they may be experiencing. It's a very normal thing. No, everything is not always perfect. Right. We get that a lot. People, we're far from it. We've had our bumps. We learned how to get through them. We don't dwell on things, and we realize that, and I tell people this, marriage is not hard, you have hard moments. You have hard times. If you characterize your marriage in the form of it's hard, then you'll see it that way. Exactly. Realize that those moments are temporary, and you'll always find your way back. So.
Yeah, and I want to delve into that more because that's the side that people need to hear, the real side to marriage, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to take a small break, and we will be back, and we're going to get into the real meat of this thing and how Kristen and Daryl have learned to overcome those, and we're going to learn a little bit. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Hey, and we are back. I'm Nicola, and this is Who We Are. I've been talking to Dr. Christen Goolsby. She's the creator of Darstens Marital Events. And if you want to find out more about Darstens Marital Events, you can search the Darstens Experience on Instagram and on Facebook as well. And also on their website, thedarstensexperience.com. So, Christen, we were talking a bit before the break about some of the struggles that we go through as married people, and I want you to speak specifically to some of those things. What I find a lot in marriages, I think a lot of the conflict that we have is we kind of put ourselves first, right? You know, we as human beings tend to be self-centered anyway, but one thing I've learned, I've been married 11 years, so I've kind of, I know a little bit.
You know quite a bit.
Yeah, but we're learning every day. But one thing that I try to do is put my husband's first. I feel like if we as married couples can learn to put the other person's needs and wants before ours, it's easier said than done, right?
Yes, it is.
But if we try to make a conscious effort to do that, right, if the other person's doing it too, then at the same time, we both should be getting our needs met as well as taking care of the other person, right?
Definite.
So tell us a little bit more about how we can kind of get over some of those conflicts and those selfish moments.
So the selfish moments that we experience, and they can come more often than we'd like because we're human, as you've stated. And again, I've said this before, we're individuals and we have our own feelings and our own opinions. So for us, one of the major things we do when we do encounter that selfishness or we find ourselves arguing, we have this rule of 3 in my home. And it just really came about after we sat down after one of our biggest arguments. I was just like, babe, we cannot argue like this again. Now this was made up after we had calmed down, but I'm glad that we had that fight because we wouldn't have been able to fix that. So basically the rule of 3 is the problem that you're having or discussion or argument going to matter in 3 hours, 3 days, 3 weeks, and you could even say 3 years. And you adjust your behavior accordingly.
I like that.
Everything does not require a big response. You have to put it into perspective. Pick your battles each time. Some things are gonna happen and you know they're coming. You know there are things with your spouse that he does, like that toilet paper roll that drives you crazy.
That thing, that thing.
That he never puts, he refills it. Those things are gonna happen. So is it worth fighting with him about it all the time? So, and the second one would be, pick your battles. Everything is not worth a conversation. Some things you're going to encounter that are normal parts of your marriage. He's gonna annoy you. You have your pet peeves. So does he. So you just have to really decide what's worth a conversation. And then probably lastly, and one of the most important things, when you're listening, listen to understand your spouse, not to respond.
Not to respond.
Listen to what they're trying to say. You're waiting for them to say something so you can say, oh, but.
And cut in and get your little 2 cents in.
You have to listen to it fully to understand what they're trying to tell you, because in those moments, you're missing big points, and those are valuable.
And it's so important. I love that you said listen to understand, because I think a lot of us as couples, we get into this verbal match, right? And it's like, you said this, and then I've got to cut in and say that. And you find yourself just waiting to pounce. But you're not actually listening to what the person is saying. And the problem there could be, sometimes we're so angry that we spew out all these negative words and these emotions. What is actually the feeling that's behind it? And I think that's probably what you're saying. What is the emotion behind, what is the feeling behind all these emotions?
Because you can't get the words back either.
Once they're out there, they are out there.
And they never forget.
And words hurt.
I won't forget, he won't forget, and you can't take it back.
And you can't take it back. That was awesome. I really love that. I want to talk a bit about your children,
Alana and Darren.
So tell us a little bit about them. What are they into? How's life?
So they are every bit of us. And so, you know, your parents always say you get back what you gave them. Oh my goodness. Because they have some of the best of us and some of the worst.
Oh my.
But it's a good combo, right? So Lana is a straight A student. She is a gymnast and a piano player. Darren is also a straight A student. He plays basketball and he's getting into guitar. The piano was not his thing, so we're going to let him try that out.
Creative kids, right?
Very creative, sweet, kind, loving little kiddos. My heart.
They are.
My heart's joy.
Oh God, they are just so cute and so
Thank
precious.
you.
So Kristen, we were talking about Lana and Darren, your 10-year-old daughter, your 9-year-old son.
Yes.
So as you all are just doing the family thing and you're interacting and of course the day-to-day, as we know, our kids watch every single thing that we do, whether we think they are or not. They're listening, they're watching. So what's one thing that you and Daryl hope that Lana and Darren will learn from your marriage? What's that thing that you pray that they will get from your marriage and take into their marriage?
So for us, first and foremost, we want them to know that God is in the midst. We are not doing this on our own. We are here because God placed us here. We're here so that we can be role models for you. The big thing with marriages and what I think people miss is that you are their first role model of what marriage is.
That's true.
So the level to which you respect your spouse, they're seeing that. The level to which you hug, kiss, show that affection, show that love, they are taking that with them. They may be, ew, mom and dad, we get that all the time. But if you notice, they'll walk away and they'll start smiling.
And they'll smile,
because they like to see that, and that is what we want them. We want them to see a positive, happy marriage. We want them to know that this is what it looks like. We want to be their model for what marriage should be. They are going to have their own experiences, but we are here to give them a start, to show them what love is and what it should be. And lastly, we just want them to see love, what love is, and partnership. There's no one, we work together in my household. There's no rule thing. If food needs to be cooked, my husband will cook, and vice versa.
And that's a great example for your son.
Yes.
You know, he's not going to be the kind of man who, hey, where's my food?
Right,
you know, he can get in the kitchen and cook too.
That's correct. If there's a load of laundry, my husband has done that before. If I have to take out the trash, I don't like to take out the trash, but I will put it outside. Whatever it takes, we are a team, and it is a team effort.
It is.
And we depend on each other, and we need each other. So I want them to see two functioning parents who are partnering together and choosing to work as a team.
That is awesome. And your children are going to be so blessed by that. Kristen, you really blessed us a lot. You've touched on a lot. I've learned a lot too, actually. So I want to close by giving you the opportunity to talk to that couple. Maybe it's that couple who's in that rocky road in the beginning. Maybe it's that couple that doesn't know how to fight fair, doesn't know how to get past these conflicts. Talk to them. Tell them a little bit about what Darstens Marital Events is hoping to achieve through marriage and for marriages.
So Darstens Marital Event is first a positive outlet. We want to serve as mentorship. We also want to serve as a place for fun, friendship, and love. The point of marriage is that you experience it, and you experience it with joy, and you be surrounded by that same thing in the company that you keep. So for us, these events allow for that. It allows for couples to come into a space, a safe space, a space where things are normal that you may not think are normal, a place where you're getting out and having that date night and really experiencing something with other couples who are like-minded like yourself. These events are held our annual couples game night, and then we do smaller events throughout the year with the goal of doing at least 3 a year. So we want to see you guys having that opportunity, going out, being amongst other married couples, and really, really feeling sound about being married and happy. So our ultimate goal is to enhance the marital experience, one Darstens Marital Event at a time. We hope to see you at the next event.
Yes, we hope to see you there. We all should be there because this is what it's all about. I love the fact that they are out there making marriages work, making marriages fun, because it's supposed to be a fun thing, right? So that's what it's all about. Thank you all once again for joining us. And thank you again, Kristen. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are so very welcome. And remember to follow us on One Word TV. And one thing I want us to remember is let your light shine for God. We're put on this earth for a reason, Find out what that purpose is and live it. That's what it's all about. We will see you next time, and God bless you.